Yo, what's up, guys? Mike Patrick. In this video, I want to talk about how you have to stop worrying about what someone else benefits from, okay? And basically just stop being jealous because at the end of the day, it is jealousy, okay? Whether you realize it or not. Now, what inspired me to do this video? What am I getting at, right? I came across some news. It was something on one of the news stations, right? And they constantly been harping on. They haven't got over the whole $10,000 to $20,000 deduction from people's student loan debt, right? And you hear these, what I would say is weak arguments about how some of us have paid off all our loans, and what about us? Are we going to get any kickback? And what about the people that didn't take out loans and work their way through college, and whatever the situation may be, that people are trying to come up with excuses for why at the end of the day they're really just jealous to see someone else benefit from something. Okay, guys? Now I know to a lot of people it's not necessarily this one situation with the student loans. It's the what's the word I'm looking for? It's the threat, or the ominence of, well, if this happens, then what's next, and things like that, right? And that's what it really is. You know what I mean? People feel like this is a sign of a threat of to their way of life, their reality, the way they are used to things being, and the way they want things to be. And this is the way that they might act out. You know what I mean? And throw a bit of a tantrum to express that. Okay. Now, guys, stop worrying about what benefits somebody else. All right? Because, see, when things are in your favor, right? A lot of people, not all people, but when things are in your favor, it's okay, right? Things are just the way they are, and you just got to get along and do the best you can under the circumstances, right? And now, mind you, the people that push this idea and the people who feel this way, okay, are the same people who are comfortable, who are just fine the way things are. So it would behoove them, right, to say, well, this is just the way life is. It's the way the world works. You know what I mean? And you just got to try to fight through it. You just got to pull yourself up. I think, what's the saying? You pull yourself up by your bootstraps or something like that. And so all that sound good until now. You got to try to figure something different out, right? And you got to figure out how to try to get along and how to exist um, under a system, or a changing system, or a way of life that now isn't conducive and isn't um, subservient to you, so to speak. You know what I mean? Well, what happened to that attitude of that's just the way things are, so you have to adapt to it? You see what I mean? Now you want to throw a tantrum, or now you want to get upset, or now you think things aren't fair. But when everything was fair, when you thought everything was fair, when everything was in your favor enough to where you wasn't complaining, right? Then everything, it was just, this is the way things operate. Well, the thing about it is, there's no such thing as this is just the way things operate. The reason, for example, the reason why money works, the reason why you can take paper, right, and go, or take a plastic card and go swipe it and take paper and exchange that for something that really is valuable, like food, you know what I mean, water, whatever, shelter, okay? The reason you can do that is because reality had been formed and shaped in a way to where we all believed in that and we all agreed to it. If nobody accepted money, paper money, for things like food, then it wouldn't be a reality. You see what I mean? And then what it is people, once a certain reality takes grip, then people want to try to solidify that as that is what reality is, and we have no control over the world. We have no influence. We have no control over or no influence over our peers, over our circumstances, our situations, and things like that, right? We accept that until enough people decide that we don't want to accept this as a reality anymore, and we are the ones who affect change and who buys in to what's real and what's not, and what you put faith in and what you don't, right? And then so as people started to do that, and then as reality, so to speak, shifts, you know what I mean, and it appears to be unfavorable to a lot of these people, right? Now it's a problem. You see what I'm saying? Now you can't stand being in a situation where you might be perceived as the unfortunate or the misfortunate, right? You don't want nobody, but at the same time, you wouldn't accept nobody telling you, well, man, that's just the circumstances of reality and the situation that we are living in right now. You know what I mean? Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. You see what I mean? See how that works? And see how a lot of people are going to learn about empathy and learning about the man upstairs, so to speak, okay? And how he operates and how he works, okay, guys? And so, you know, I just thought about that. I wanted to put this together based off of the video that I seen, because it's probably like a week now since that with the student loan reduction program or whatever that they just put out, and it's still people complaining, and then it's like simple elementary arguments. It's like kiddie arguments of. It reminds me of my children, right? I always teach my children this. One of the first things they would do, and that's how you know it's human nature too, because even as children, right, what's some of the first things you tend to do? You know what I mean? Is especially if you have multiple children. If I give one of my children something, the other one expect to have the same thing. And I always teach them, and I do this on purpose a lot of times. Sometimes I'll give just one of them right in front of the other ones. I'll give one of them something, right? And like most kids, and then how we raise people in this society and in general, you know, when you have your children, you give them all the same things, and you don't want them feeling any different and things like that. But that's not how you teach them. And so what happened was, my children was used to the same thing until I became cognizant of this aspect of psychology and trying to raise them and making them a healthy whole individual. I said I got to stop giving them, even if I can give all of them the same exact thing, or get them all something at the same time and things like that. I said, how is that really shaping and molding them as a person if every time one person gets something, they expect to get it too, and they always worried about what somebody else doing, what somebody else getting, and trying to compare themselves to other people. I said, you know what? The earlier the better that we can nip this in the bud now. So for a while, what I started doing was I might have something that I could give to all of them. You know what I mean? But I'll pick one and say, hey, boom, Sonny, here you go. And then the rest of them will be looking, and for a while, they starting to get out of it now. So I'm saying it take time. But they getting out of the whole idea just because one person, just because you see, because that breeds jealousy. You see what I'm saying? Like, and so just because you can see somebody get something and not feel any type of way about it, that wasn't meant for you. That's just what it is. That wasn't meant for you. If I was giving it to you, you wouldn't have no problem with me giving it to you and you having it and you just fine. You know what I mean? And then you'll just feel like whatever about how they feel about it. You know what I mean? And so they getting a whole lot better about, you know, seeing somebody get something, whatever, and not feeling any type of way about it. Either being happy for something that the person got, and if they're happy for having it or whatever, feeling that way for them and with them, and or just, you know, not feeling no type of way about it at all, and knowing that that's for them, and keeping their focus and keeping their head straight and worrying about what's for them. You see what I mean? Um, but that's what you have going on. That's what you probably gonna have more going on. That's what you always kind of have had. That we trying to weed out and things like that. By bringing awareness to it. You know what I mean? And talking about things like this from different perspectives. Because we always hear about jealousy and stuff. We don't talk about how it's bred. So you know what I mean? Because mental health is real big and it's going to be real big in the near future, because that's the point of some people ain't built for adversity, man. And when you got somebody who been living a certain way for a certain amount of time, and then they say the ones at the top got the hardest fall, right? So you're gonna have people losing their minds if they can't deal with whatever their circumstance or situation is. You see what I'm saying? That's why I always said I always want to raise my kids humble, um, under any circumstances, and stay humble. You know what I mean? And stay sharp and stay strong and stay prepared, and put your values into things that can't be taken away from you. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people are gonna lose their mind and have been losing their mind when they see things changing. Okay, that's why you gotta work on you, do your soul searching, doing your introspection, so you can have your worth and stay firm and stay strong. You know what I mean? Through whatever the circumstance is, like, you know what I mean? Like I always say, the only thing that everything is expendable. You know what I mean? Or I'm willing to lose, or don't care if I lose it, as long as I have those that I love. Anything else can be replaced, and those situations could change at any given time. You can be rich today and literally broke tomorrow. You could be broke today and rich tomorrow. Whatever. You know what I mean? So, but you gotta have that strong foundation and those real values and those real morals and those real things that you stand on. So you can't be shaken under. You can't be so easily manipulated by circumstances that you can't help or change one way or another as an individual. All right, guys. Hopefully this was a helpful video. Peace.